yes, I do care about sales because that's important. We'll test probably like it'll be like here and there. Like if I'm gonna do a test, it'll only be like one in a week. And like so like in a batch of 21, it'll be like one or two. So like if we notice something, like if Elon makes an announcement about the algorithm, for example, this is some deep sauce. So like he just announced long form videos and long form tweets are going to be boosted by the algorithm. Okay, I'm not going to change everything I'm doing just because of that tweet, but I'm now in my next round of content. This was like a week or two ago. In our next round of content that week, we went out for every client, added an additional long form video and long form tweet to see the performance against a thread and a regular short form video. And then we now track those results. And if they're working, okay, let's double down. Let's put two long forms and two long form videos. And that's kind of how we'll do it. But to your point, yes, 80% to 90% of the content is still going to be structured in a way that we know is going to work. And then we mix in the experiments because we always want to have kind of a constant control where we know it's going to work. And then we have the variable that we can put in to kind of have meteoric growth when we do experiments.
Nice. It's almost like Taleb's barbell strategy applied to content. Yeah. For anyone who's
I don't
like,
know that, but I want to look it up. Yeah, sounds cool.
yeah, it's an investment strategy, but it sounds similar. I think a guy like you will probably fuck with the idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nassim
I'll
Taleb's
look it up.
barbell strategy. Okay, Cheyenne's got a question, and then we'll go to David. Cheyenne says, "Are the long forms working right now?"
Yeah, I'd say they are. I think long forms are working a little. Like I'd say long forms are good, but they're not better than threads at the moment, in my opinion. I haven't
Yeah,
noticed that. I've never had a long form get anywhere close to my best threads. Like the best threads are so much further ahead of the best long forms, uh, from as for what I've seen. So yeah, I think it's just human psychology. Like shorter attention span, it's tough. So I'd say long forms, probably a lot of long forms are better than regular tweets. So I'd put them ahead of tweets, but below threads.
that's interesting. Made me think about weaving long forms into my tweet game every week. Could be fun,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. I wouldn't put long forms like better, like ahead of threads. Like I wouldn't drop threads for long forms, but I would definitely add long forms over tweets, at least here and
Damn.
there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like my philosophy for every platform, but especially Twitter, is just do everything that the platform gives you. So if the platform gives you a new feature, you just do it because the platform is incentivized to push their new features. So whenever there's a new feature, I just do it, no matter what, at least a little bit.
For sure, for sure. What about video? Have you found video to do better than tweets in long form? Better than threads?
Video crushes. Video's really good. Yeah,
Any
video's
particular
really good.
types of video?
I would say there's not, I haven't noticed like an outsized difference from long form and short form. I would say like regular sized, like 50, like 5 to 30, 40 minutes is uh, a good video. I haven't noticed a great performance in like hours or 2 hour long podcasts. Um, I would say like regular size long form videos are good. And then the short ones that you can swipe through with the immersive swiping. Those are the two top uh, types of video I've noticed. But I know like Lex Friedman and stuff can post like 3 hour podcasts, but I don't think the average person should rely on that for engagement. But if you're doing a podcast, definitely post it. That's kind of my thought process.
Gotcha, gotcha. Awesome. David, I'm gonna throw it over to you.
Yeah, you mentioned tracking in relation to testing. So, um, how do you approach that? Because I imagine if you have a lot of clients and a lot of content, like it could be quite a lot of work to like track that
Yeah.
and draw
Yeah,
some.
I don't go as hard as some people. I know people in the space who have like full dashboards of like every tweet and tweet variation with like the exact amount of impressions. I used to do that, like Mr. Beast level obsession. I've since drawn back from that like individualized analysis, and now we look at more do clients' weekly performance of impressions, followers, etc. But if I'm gonna run an A/B test on a specific content, I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. I don't need to like, you know what I mean? Like I have
Yeah.
enough time to where I could just like check and like my team's checking, like we'll have meetings with the team and I'll be like, let's run this test. And then they'll just report it back to me. But no, have like some sort of like big tool or anything like that. But I do know people that do, but they're more like solo personal brands, not agencies.
Mhm.
Maybe I will in the future. Just a lot of work.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. I'm taking up a lot of time here, but anybody else got some questions? I'll open the floor in case I'm just hogging the mic.
Sorry, you got plenty of time. 15 minutes. Let's go.
Well, I'll let type them in the chat if you guys have another one. I'm curious of to hear maybe one of like your biggest L's that you've ever taken as an agency owner, because everyone's always like, here's my results, here's my wins. Like, do you have like a particular
Yeah,
L story that you're like, oh fuck?
I do have an L. I have an L. It wasn't that long ago. I had a client who was referred to me by Dakota, and it was like this was recent. And basically he signed because he wanted like a little bit of in-person relationship. So I had went to this person's house, interviewed him in person multiple times over dinner, all this stuff. But the lesson that I learned is that he tried to essentially change the process. And this is what I had told you earlier with the weekly feedback. He tried to have us do a month of content in advance, and I obliged. So I basically spent like a month and a half onboarding this person, and you don't get paid to onboard. So by the time the content started, it was like 6 weeks deep into the relationship, and we were doing 30 days of content, but we had written 30 days of content that didn't work because the feedback loop was too long, and basically the content was just not good. And part of that reason was I also let them edit it like crazy. But what I should have done is position myself as an authority and been like, well, we're the experts, we know it works, which is what I do now. But so I let them basically, the content was a shell of what we actually created, plus it was 30 days. So it was basically 30 days of half-ass shit content, went out, garbage. I ended up retaining the client for like 2 months, and then it just ended. So basically did like 3.5 months of shit work, got paid for 2 months, spent all this time meeting this person in person, and then they churned. It was such a waste of my fucking time. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, there's my L. That was probably my biggest L of the past like year.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Rough.
Um, Another question for you is your offer still $5,000 a month for like handshake deal, or do you also get commission? Because it seems like if you're crushing like 100K worth of like,
Yeah.
gross profits, I'm imagining you're getting like at least a cut, because 5,000 for that
Yeah. Yeah.
seems crazy.
Yeah. So we have two different offers. We have our just a flat retainer, and then we have our performance deal, which is the retainer plus a percentage of the net profit generated from specifically Twitter. Um,
Mhm.
so we have that deal for our performance clients, and we'll take anywhere from 5 to 20% of the net profit generated from Twitter, and that's dependent on the client size. And then we have our growth offer, which is more just focused on putting out good content and building brand, and that's just a retainer. So that's typically the growth offer is essentially reserved for high net worth people who are ready to invest in brand, and the performance offer is reserved for people who want the economics to check out month over month. So that's the you make more than you pay us, but now you make more than you pay us, and you give us a percentage. So
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.